Imagine unlocking a secret so powerful that it takes the improbable into the possible. Today, we dive back into the world of lottery predictions, talking about ChatGPT and artificial intelligence. 1 in 300 million for games like Powerball is not just daunting, but it seems almost impossible to guess the right lottery numbers. What if there was a way to sift through the complexities of randomness and patterns that the human mind just can't even solve on its own? This isn't about lottery guessing strategies. This is about advanced AI. And since it's capable of doing everything else, it might just hold the potential to crack this code. So at one point I had heard about data training. And data training piqued my interest because look at this definition, also referred to as training set or learning set. It's an input data set used to train a machine learning model. These models use training data to learn and refine rules to make predictions on unseen data points. Now, even if you come here and you see, like when I asked, how can AI be used to analyze patterns in data? Number one, jump out at you immediately. Like AI, particularly machine learning models, can identify complex patterns in large data sets that might not be evident to human analysis. This includes recognizing trends, anomalies, and correlations. Predictive analysis. By learning from historical data, it can make predictions about future outcomes. This is widely used in stock market forecasting, demand forecasting in retail, or predicting disease outbreaks in public health. Wow. So that made me think. I'm not a stocks guy because honestly, stocks are too volatile, and I feel like the people at the higher ups are like got an unfair advantage. But the next best thing is the lottery, right? And what's funny is years ago, I actually went and I tried to manually do this same process that I'm about to show you right here. So with my experience with ChatGPT, other stuff I've built on ChatGPT in the past, I thought, how possible would it be to use a data training model to code to predict the lottery? And of course, ChatGPT is honestly a lazy tool. You have to know how to talk to it. Because just being 100% honest, if the key to the safe metaphorically was that easy to get, then I'm sure somebody would have thought of this already, right? So you have to work around ChatGPT. You have to say, are there any data training models built on any code libraries? Yeah, I know I butchered that word. And so here it gave us a couple of libraries, some built on Python, some built on JavaScript. And don't worry, we're not going to get into no complex code. Nothing outside of something that you could do, you could follow along and put on your computer itself. Now, here's the plan, because the next drawing is in 44 hours and we got to make sure we win this one. So we're going to go look at all the previous numbers. And once again, to the human eye, we might not see anything right now, but ChatGPT said itself that these deep learning models are designed to do just that. So we're going to create a local website. And what a local website pretty much is, if you were hosting it, if you had a domain and you were hosting it on a server, then it wouldn't be local. It will be public. But locally is a site that you can run on your machine. And that's perfect for what we want to do here, because we don't want everybody to get the winning numbers. We just want the winning numbers. So once again, I always tell you, you have to learn how to talk to ChatGPT. Even the paid version, even ChatGPT 4 will do things the laziest way as possible. So I'm going to take you through why I scripted and prompted it this way. Build me a starter site, right? Because anytime if you try to tell it to just build you a site, it'll try to say, oh no, I won't build the site for you, but I'll tell you how to do it. Now, it is more willing to help you get started on something or do a starter project. So that's why I always word it like that, with HTML, CSS, and TensorFlow.js. Now, remember, TensorFlow is one of the libraries that's designed for deep learning, machine learning, data training, and all that good stuff. So I want to be able to type in past winning numbers and use TensorFlow to pick the best numbers to pick based on patterns in machine learning. There are 6 numbers in the Powerball. Yes, you have to get that specific with ChatGPT, with the Powerball having a red background. So make the predictions like that. I'll maybe go back 10 Powerballs as far as input for the last set of winning numbers. Each number will have its own input as far as the rows. All right. So to get into building this machine, I'm going to be using the simplest of code languages. We're, of course, talking about HTML. Now, HTML is the basic bare bones of a website. This is the code you see. So I replaced the H1 with hi YouTube. I hit run and you see it over here. So that's pretty much HTML. Now let's go CSS. CSS is the styling on the page, right? So you see like this HTML right here, it's bare bones. It's not good. It needs some style, right? So that's where CSS comes along. So background color, let's say if I said blue, run, it would be blue. Let's go pink, run, it'll be pink. And it gets a lot more complex than this, not in what we're doing today, but I'm just talking about in code. And then JavaScript is what I would describe as, especially in the context, especially in this context that we'll be using it, HTML will be the frame, just the metal frame of a car. Then CSS would be the paint, the interior, like everything that makes it look good, the wheels. And then the motor is JavaScript. JavaScript is what makes, when you click a button on a website, it's what happens in the background that makes the button actually do something. So you see here a simple example. Now when it says on, see it says on click. This is an on click function in JavaScript. You hit click me. Now this makes sense, right? And TensorFlow, which is the machine learning library, actually built a version of their library on top of JavaScript. So that's going to make this really easy for us to run here locally on our machine. So I'll go back as 10 Powerballs as far as inputs. You could probably go back 100 to make this just like more worth it. And each number will have its own input as far as the rows. I want you to completely write all the rows in and the functionality in JavaScript. Once again, it'll try to give you it'll be lazy. Write the functionality in JavaScript as it should work. Don't use dummy or placeholder. All right, so it wrote our code, and honestly, I think this is actually one of the rare times that I get ChatGPT to do exactly what I asked it to do. So boom, we have our HTML. We're gonna copy code. I'm not sponsored by them, although I probably should. But Sublime Text is open source, which is probably why they don't sponsor me. But it's free. You can buy it, but you can also not buy it. So you know what? I think I might buy it. But when you have Sublime open, meet me over there. Now, when you have Sublime open, it's gonna be blank like this. So the first step is gonna be easy. We're gonna copy this in, and it's automatically gonna recognize it as HTML. You're gonna come file, save as, and I'm gonna name this index.html, of course, lowercase. And then you're gonna actually go over there because I want you to kind of see how code works for my new people. So right now, when you open that, it's just bare. When you hit this button, nothing happens. And that's, of course, because you're going to need your CSS, right? So notice here in this line of code, this pretty much links to your style sheet. So you're always going to name it style, right? Don't ever deviate from that. Just keep it simple. If you understand code, then you can name it what you want because you'll know how to reference it. But you notice when we pasted this in, it didn't turn colors. You want it to turn colors. So you're going to come over here, select CSS, and now that's how you know it all makes sense. Broken code is going to be all white like normal. But when it's multicolored, you know it's the logic is what it's called. It's making sense, right? So you're going to call this styles.css. You're going to save it, and then you're going to come back to your website. Oh, and see, I messed up. It's not styles, it's style.css. So now we see it looks a little better. It at least gave us a nice font. So, but nothing happens when we hit that button still. So we're going to come back here and we're going to copy this in. Now, this script is called app.js. This is where they reference it. Typically it's script.js. That's like the default name, but in this case it is not. So you're going to come down here when you paste it in and hit JavaScript, it turned colors again. It lets you know what's going on. I want to go through this so I can kind of tell you, so I can kind of make it make sense to you if you're seeing this same stuff. So all these functions are just telling JavaScript to do something, and you're basically telling it to generate inputs, right? because remember I said I wanted 10 inputs. You could do that through HTML, but this is like what I like about ChatGPT is that it's a professional coder. It codes almost perfect. So it knows it's better to do it this way. It's what this is called is dynamic. So it's just writing functions to do everything we said it does. It's going to run the data through TensorFlow, and then it's going to turn us back a set of predicted numbers. So we're going to save this as app.js, save it, and then we're going to come over here. And now we're going to see where we have all these inputs, and then boom, the Powerball over here. So what I want you to pay attention to is that it goes up to 26 for the Powerball, which is adjacent to this right here, and then 69 for the regular numbers. So that's huge. Like it already knows how many numbers are in each Powerball. So now we got to go fill in the last few winners. All right, so now I got them all in. It's the moment of truth. Let's predict numbers. Oh, okay. And it gave me my numbers. Let's say you do that, you add 100 numbers, something like that, and you could very well build yourself a number. I'm going to go buy a ticket. And in my next video, we going to see, and I promise you in the next week, we're going to see if we was able to hit the lottery. Rico gang, I love y'all. Let's get it.